What up, fam? We right back at you, man. Turn down a little bit, man. There's a prank going on, man. You know, you guys are amazing. That be from DC, but this how we crank down here. You know what I mean? We go shit. So, we'll chill, man. Relax. We gonna go into Wayne Perry. Just do some old school shit, something different, man. Break the monotony. You know, we'll watch a little bit. And then we'll just, maybe 10 minutes each one, man. Got a lot of content in store for you guys, man. I just need the time. Today, I have time. Y'all listen to that crank a little bit, man. Y'all might be, I'm pretty sure y'all not from the area and whatnot. Some of y'all are, man. Salute to everybody from the DMV area. Love you guys, man. Love all you guys. But, just listen to it, man. We're going to get into the Wayne Perry story first, I think. That's all we're going to have to go live soon. Y'all pick what y'all want. Go to CurtBone, little interview and whatnot. And then we're going to be out. But I have a lot of content, man. Underground stuff. Not just, like I said, celebrities, man. I have one to put out tomorrow. A mother of 9. Unfortunately, man, car accident. Then her father gets killed 6 days later, man. You can't make this shit up. I don't know what's going on in America, man, but we'll survive. So, without further ado, man, we can get right into this damn content. Let's see what we want to go through first. And this is from DC. If you're not from DC, you wouldn't, just listen to it. We gonna close you out with that too. So, backyard band, man. So we're gonna jump right into. We're gonna jump into Wayne Perry right now. Hitman. Area, man, not to glorify him, just to give the awareness of what's going on today in these streets. There's plenty of him, so you gotta be careful out here, man. Just be careful. Everybody have peace, man. All this tough shit is unnecessary. But we'll go into it, man. We'll view this a little bit. Not the most positive thing, but something has to be covered. Just trying to get you guys familiar with the DC area. So, without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. I'm not going to play a lot of it. We're going to go from there. We're going to go from there.
Not crying because he committed a murder at 12 years old. He was crying because he thought he had messed up his first hit. This would be the day that Wayne elevated from the amateur ranks of petty crime into the professional ranks of the murder gang. He attended Wilson High School, and the 6'3" Wayne Perry excelled in multiple sports: basketball, football, and especially baseball. According to Wayne, he was in the Washington Post a few times due to his baseball accolades, but eventually he was kicked off the team for beating the coach with a baseball bat. Then Wayne was expelled from all public schools in Washington, D.C. for shooting a hall monitor during a school riot. Wayne, he said he didn't do it, but everybody pointed the finger towards him. Wayne would be sent to an alternative school to get his GED. But while he was there, another one of the troubled teens threatened Wayne. They threatened to smack him and to take his chain. And Wayne caught him walking home from school one day and waited for the right moment and shot him multiple times and killed him. 1978 would be the year that Wayne started to rob banks with the OGs he came up around. He said they would take his bullets out of his gun when they went to the robberies because they knew he was trigger happy. And in 1979, his little brother was actually murdered in one of the bank robberies when he was shot by a cop. And as the early 1980s arrived, Wayne's reputation was growing as a killer, not just in Southwest DC, but in the entire city. And after witnessing his brother being murdered in a bank robbery, Wayne would try his hand in the dope game, but hustling really wasn't his strong point. He was more into extortion and murder. Wayne would become known for not just being a hitman for hire, but for robbing and murdering local drug dealers. It said a lot of them didn't even want to get cars that were too flashy because Wayne would see that they was getting money and pull up on them.
When people hear about Wayne Perry, 9 times out of 10 will come to mind as hitman or killer.
When they mentioned his name, they mentioned murder in the same sense because he was about his work.
He an animal, man.
Well respected, man. Just known for not playing to leave you leaking.
I could have put my man Wayne from DC. They don't know Wayne. Wayne would have walked right up on him, hit him 3 times, and then piss on him. Because DC, they quick for their guns, man. Okay. They kill you in a minute, especially if they know you're from out of town.
And sometimes, instead of just taking them off the map by killing them, Wayne would give the drug dealers an option. And he would tell them, if you give me money, then I'll be your friend. But if you don't give me money, then I'm not your friend, which was basically a threat. WP had the whole town on lock. A lot of people in fear. A lot of people didn't want to get on the wrong side of Wayne Perry because they knew on that wrong side was the barrel of a gun. Wayne Perry was beyond dangerous. A man by the name of Thomas Dozier, who was once a part of his crew, told a story of getting out of prison and being picked up by Wayne. Wayne asked him, like, do you got some money? Dude was like, no, I'm fresh out. I ain't got nothing. Wayne told him, hey, you know what? I'm going to take you to go get some money. And they pulled up to this spot of a well-known drug dealer. And Wayne told Thomas, go inside, tell him that Wayne is out here and he want his money and don't make me come in there. And the dude said he looked at Wayne and just like, you serious? Because this is a well-known drug dealer. And Wayne just looked at him and said, go in there and tell him what I just said. And a few minutes later, came out with a bag full of money. Not too many people in the city wanted war with Wayne, but every now and then he would be tested. And one of his rivals almost caught him slipping one day and tried to kill him, just so happened in front of the police. But Wayne, he returned fire on this person, and Wayne ended up killing them instead. They tried to charge him with murder. It happened right in front of a cop, but the cop ended up testifying that Wayne did it in self-defense. They gave him other lesser charges, but nowhere near a murder rap. Wayne was beginning to look like Teflon, although he would spend the better part of the mid-'80s locked up at Lorton Prison. And when he was released in 1987, his dad died right after he got out. And according to Wayne, he went crazy. He just lost it. He had a death wish. In the year of 1987 into the early 90s, Washington, D.C. would see a surge in murders, and this coincided with the reign of Wayne Perry. It seemed like everybody that dropped in the city, Wayne Perry's name was some way attached to it. And the rise of Wayne Perry ran parallel to the rise of Michael Jordan. And people would say, what does Michael Jordan have to do with a Washington, D.C. hitman? Well, Wayne Perry's murder game became so legendary on the streets of D.C., the authorities and some gangsters started to refer to him as the Michael Jordan of murder. And when Wayne's little brother was asked about his legendary status, he was quoted as saying, Wayne is as silent as the wind and as deadly as fire. But eventually, Wayne would be locked up once again, and the city could breathe again. All the gangsters and the drug dealers can move around a little bit more free, knowing Wayne ain't lurking in the shadows. But a series of events would occur that would change Wayne Perry's life forever when Albert Martinez, aka Alpo, came into his life. Now, exactly how they met, there's two sides to the story. Wayne Perry claims that one night he was out and a man by the name of Shorty Pop, who he was close to, introduced Alpo to him. But Wayne said he wanted to kill Alpo because a female that he was dealing with told him that Alpo said he was going to put a hit out on Wayne. And Shorty Pop had to talk him out of it, and Alpo had to talk to him and tell him that it wasn't true. And allegedly, Shorty Pop went back and killed that woman. That's Wayne's version. Alpo's version is a little different. According to Alpo, Wayne was still locked up, and his bond was only $10,000, but nobody would put the money up because he had the streets of DC and absolute fear. But Alpo saw the long game, so Alpo put up the money to set Wayne free, once again unleashing him on the streets of DC. Now, Alpo had already been in the city trying to make some moves, move his work, but he was running into a lot of resistance. DC, they didn't play too well with out-of-towners, especially one with a reputation like Alpo's. But it was a lot of strong dudes in the city, and Alpo just didn't have the muscle, so he would get extorted, robbed on a pretty consistent basis, but he was still getting money. And he would try to work with the dudes in the city, but they just wasn't dealing with him for real. And eventually he got set up, and some dudes tried to shoot and kill him during a drug deal.
When I say I went after him, because a lot of people were starting to talk about, well, we got to get rid of the kid Pope because he's getting too much money, and he's not even from here.
I did hear you got shot.
I got shot because they was trying to kidnap me in D.C.
The new best way to make money online that nobody's talking about is something you've never heard of before. It's using Audible. So these right here are real paychecks from Audible. They're not mine. They're my wife's because
Sorry about that, gang. Man, you got them pop-ups and whatnot. So, that's just a little bit about Wayne Perry in the DC streets. We'll get into CurtBone now. We'll keep it moving, man. Maybe another pop-up. But, that lets me know when to cut it off. I don't want to bore y'all to death, but definitely check that out, man. That story is crazy. First murder at 12 years old, man. That's that's crazy, man. But we all got a story. So just sit back, relax, get your popcorn ready, and let's go to the next one. Again, my apologies for that. We can go back to it at the end. But what we need to do, man, is put these guns down. That's just my thing. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. All right. So we'll go here. Let's hear what CurtBone got to say. CurtBone TV. Y'all can check him out. Salute.
He was one of my customers.
So you were basically his plug.
Yeah, you can say that. That plug word took me though, but you can say that.
Okay. All right. And then right around 89, you ended up introducing Alpo to Ears the Christ and Andre Tank Johnson.
Yeah, 89, April, probably not one, April, probably about the summer 89. But I was incarcerated when it happened. My ears might have had a timeline messed up. He said something about on the streets. It didn't happen that way. I introduced it to him to Tank when he was when I was incarcerated.
We from so much CB like man, I'm gonna turn y'all into a good dude. You feel me? So we was like, we don't care. We was pumping so much. Kirk like CB like going out. So we put up on him one night. He was trying to take his lady to the movies. We had to beg him to go get some shit for us. He said, we don't sleep. We trying to get paid. We trying to get rich. So he did it. He came back, gave us the shit. The next day, he was like, man, I'm going to turn y'all on to my man. He's a good man. Y'all a good man. So he introduced us to Alpo the Rat.
Alpo Martinez.
Alpo the Rat. That's what I called him. Yep.
Okay. So is this you being incarcerated over the whole Rayful Edmonds sweep that was happening?
Right. Yeah. I got locked up. I was indicted. I mean, we're not indicted. Was locked up April 89, for the Rayful Edmonds case at that time.
Okay. So essentially, okay, I see what you're saying. So you were already off the street and you just kind of made a connection while you were locked up.
Right. Yeah. Tank actually, reached out to me and, say, what he think about saying, doing some business with him. I said, he getting a few joints. You know what I'm saying? You could do something with him. He ain't a bad guy. And they end up, bond their relationship at that point.
Okay. So let's talk about this bust in 89.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the largest drug case in DC history, AKA the Rayful Edmonds case.
Mm-hmm.
So what led up to all these indictments and arrests and everything else like that?
The FBI laid down their investigation through this lady, Ray Zanville, a white lady that Ray was dealing with, ended up working with the police. So she ended up infiltrating, but wearing a wire and, talking to his mother, talking to friends and family members, and was getting a lot of information and taking it back to the government, and they built their case around that.
Okay. So when they actually built their case, how many people were arrested?
I forgot the exact number. It was either 30 or 29 or 31, and one of those numbers.
Okay. And you were one of those 30?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get arrested, you get indicted for conspiracy, murder after the fact, the gun that was used in the murder, and with all that, you're facing 35 to life?
Exactly.
Okay. And you're how old at the time? Like 20 years old?
20. Yep. Just turned 20.
Okay. So how does a 20-year-old react to hearing 35 to life? That's more years. That's damn near twice as many years you've been alive at this point.
Yeah, isn't that a good thing to hear? Definitely, you know what I'm saying? But I was a different 20, not saying I was a super tough guy, but I was around a lot of older dudes as young, running errands for the trap house and different things like that. So having those conversations in that situation, it wasn't foreign to me. So I was just trying to figure out what's the best way to try to beat these people.
Okay. And I'm assuming, just like it always happens in the, law enforcement, when they arrest you, they offer you, hey, listen, you're not the main guy that we're going after. We're going after Rayful. So, hey, cooperate, give us some information. We'll make that 35 turn into 1 or 2 years or get off with probation. Were you offered that in the beginning?
Right. Yeah. Now that's a lot of TV shit people be saying. That don't normally happen. The government when they come and get you the feds, they did their homework. They got their case already wrapped up. So they already know who they can ask those questions to, who they can't ask those questions to. So if they doing their investigation, they'll pinpoint, we can ask Joe Blow this, but we can't ask Hurry that. And I was a Hurry dude.
Yeah, 98% conviction rate.
Yeah, so there's a lot of Joe Blow. Blows, but there's some hurries on there too, though. So they're gonna get some help. That's why they gang up a lot of people to hope somebody break. But they don't act. Okay, they don't bring everybody in for interrogation. Trying to make them help themselves. That's a lot of TV stuff right there.
Okay, so you were never offered to cooperate?
Nah.
Okay, so but here you are, 20 years old, facing life in prison. Worst case. Did you have lawyer money at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. How much did you spend on your lawyer?
I think it was like 85 or 90.
Okay, damn near 100 grand.
Yeah.
It's interesting how many people live this type of life and they get arrested then they go and get a public defendant. You know what I'm saying? And like don't prepare for which is often the inevitable situation of getting arrested. But you actually had put aside a good amount of money to get the best lawyer to actually protect you.
Right, yeah. Like I say, fortunately, I was raised by older cats that already been around the barn.
Okay, so they were telling you, like, just keep stacking money on the side because, you know.
Yeah. They don't actually tell you. They tell you, but you ear hustle enough and you see enough stories to be around and you get 2 + 2 is 4.
Okay, so they offer you the 35 to life. And then, you know, what happens in most cases is as you get closer and closer to the trial date, they start to kind of chip that number down and so forth, right?
No, they trying to get every day out your ass. They ain't trying to trip you down, like you said, unless you give them some assistance or something like that, right? But they, you know,
well, I mean, no, in terms of plea deals, like usually
plea deal, right? They offer you plea deals. Okay, I got you.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So your first plea deal was how much?
My first plea that they offered me was like it was like a lesser conspiracy, keep me attached to the case. That was, I forgot what it's called. It was a lesser conspiracy. I forgot the number they called it. So that was the first joint they gave me. And I turned that one down. And I turned it down because I based on my own decision, I ain't want my other co-defendant to say you went early, you hurt us. So, you know, so I turned that one down.
Okay. Well, the murder after the fact indictment, what was that about?
Oh, yeah.
And sorry, before you actually answer that, what does that even mean, murder after the fact? I've never even heard that before.
Right. That means if somebody kills somebody right now and he leave and go somewhere and he get around you, they give you the accessory after the fact of the murder. So if I kill somebody right now in the studio and go get in my car and somebody down there with me in the car, they're gonna put them to the case and say you was guilty by after the fact. And they talk use the same gun using the case also that the person might have used.
Okay. And they try to tie you to that. So basically, they're saying that someone else killed someone and then went to go hang out with you afterwards?
Right, yeah. Well, what actually happened is someone, you know, put that work in and then they went all the way across town and they end up getting in the car with me. The person who dropped them off across town caught a case 6 or 7 months ago. And he told them the whole situation from the murder all the way to where a seller went at. So that's how I got tied into the case.
Oh, okay. But it has to be more than just you go hang out with someone. Do they try to prove that after the murder, they talked to you about the murder and you knew about it and everything else like that?
No.
You see what I'm trying to say? Like I mean, because you can go get into a cab after a murder and decide the cab driver gonna get tied into it.
But you and the cab don't got a relationship. They ain't been investigating you and the cab driver. Y'all been on the same calls and hanging out and all that type of stuff.
Okay, so basically they're trying to say you're part of this murder conspiracy in some sort of way.
You gotta keep in mind they investigate, then they trying to put the conspiracy together. You know what I'm saying? All this happened during the same timeline.
Okay, and during this time, did they give you bail or are you sitting in jail?
Nah, they didn't. No bail. I was in jail.
Okay, because you were a flight risk?
I mean, they consider all of us a flight risk just because, you know, the nature of the case and the notoriety of it.
Okay, so how long are you sitting in jail while this whole case is kind of developing?
I sat the whole time until they came up with my sentence and I ended up, going through my time. But they probably the trial. I probably settled DC jail, what they call on the AS, for probably 14, 15 months.
Okay. And by this time, is this the first time you're actually getting locked up?
Yeah. I got locked up before, but I never did no jail time as a juvenile.
Got it. Okay. So here you are locked up for a year and some change, and your lawyer is doing what he does. And eventually they get the offer down to just money laundering. And they give you a plea deal to that.
Exactly.
Were you actually money laundering during this time, or was it just something they gave you just to get something on you?
No. And money laundering, people look at money laundering straight from a business aspect. But money laundering can mean that if you take some illegal money, if I go gamble on the street and win $50,000 and I go open a business, I just launder that money. So it was a parenthesis in there for gambling. My defense to my lawyer was I was a gambler. I never meant to do nothing but gambling. So we end up using that same theory to go there. Actually, the government didn't even offer that to me. We put that together and proposed it to them because they kept on trying to offer me all these deals. So we figured out something to take to them.
Okay, so you basically said, I'm not a drug dealer, I'm a gambler. All this money came from gambling. I'll admit to using gambling money to try to start legitimate businesses, and which will take me out of this whole Rayful Edmonds kind of umbrella of drug dealing and murder and everything else like that.
Right, exactly right. And by record, I'm not. If you pull up the files, I'm not even part of their case. They actually dropped my Rayful Edmonds case, and I pleaded guilty to money laundering. I created my own charge for them.
Okay, and were you using money to actually start businesses, which is how the money laundering thing even came together, or no?
No, this is just the gambling aspects of it. The gambling was enough.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you went from 35 to life to getting 51 months.
Yeah, 51 months, exactly.
4 years, 3 months.
Right. And
you're 2021 at the time?
Yeah, I started off at 20, so I don't know probably 21 when I went to the feds, probably, I'm assuming.
Okay. So you take this deal for 4 years and 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Rayful Edmonds at the same time is going through a very different type of case, though.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up getting life in prison.
Mm-hmm.
When you heard about Rayful getting life, what'd you think?
That was a shitty deal. I thought it was crazy, you know what I'm saying? But again, I knew that was the end game what they were trying to do, but I thought it was a crazy thing to get them boys life for selling drugs.
Well, even at that level, I mean, providing 60% of all the drugs, making hundreds of millions of dollars, but tens of millions, however you want to say it.
Yeah, but that's the same people say he made 80 million, a week or a month or something. So, just like you said, after factual murder, because somebody jumped in your car across town. So it's their game. They make the rules. You just got to don't get caught in their rules.
Well, he gets life in prison and his mother gets 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
And is that because of the white girl that was recording the mom and everything else like that?
Yeah. The stuff that she had in the wiretap and, things that she said, it hurt her.
Okay. So he gets his case. He starts his prison term, but he continues to sell drugs in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So then he gets an extra 30 years on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1996, it actually gets revealed that he became a government informant.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised that he turned informant?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. Definitely.
Okay. I mean, how close were you guys before you got locked up?
Super close. Probably like brothers.
Okay. What was it about Rayful that was different from everyone else that really allowed him to get to that level?
Because a lot of people that got the means and the connection like that don't really want to see other people eat. So he was trying to let everybody eat. So that made him different, and that just alone trying to make sure everybody ate.
Right, but with his cooperation, 11 other alleged drug dealers ended up getting arrested.
Yeah, but you're talking past 96. I'm talking in my era. So what's your question about that time?
Okay, yeah. Sorry. I'm jumping around a little bit. My apologies. Okay, so let's just jump back to 1996 again.
Okay.
So he starts to cooperate, and the story's a little fuzzy around his cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying, I remember I saw a documentary where they're saying he cooperated because the agreement was that they would let his mother out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Did you hear the same thing?
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Okay. He cooperates. His mother gets out of prison.
All right, fam, we gonna get out of here.
His cooperation, 11.
Stop sharing this one, man. We out of here, man. Just giving you a little insight on the DC thing back in the day, man. That's where it all started from, man. Salute to everybody in the building, man. I'm gonna continue the stories, man. We'll go step by step. Y'all just listen to this crank. I'm out of town now from the DMV. This is it right here. Again, salute, man. I ain't gonna miss another week. I promise. real busy, man. Love for everybody, man. Be safe out here, man. People ain't playing fair. I'm gonna let the music take you out. You know what I'm saying? Listen to this, man. Turn your speakers up. When the music pump on, you know I got that good view, man. My shit's supplied by Dr. Ilwar. This backyard band. Salute the gangers and all the crew. Hope y'all enjoyed this, man. It's a little bit longer. I want to, go step by step with this, but we'll get through it, man.
Good to see you. I might carry through.
Y'all have a good night, man. I appreciate everybody, man. Thank you for listening. Stopping past. Share this to a friend. Subscribe. Donate to this channel. It's the real shit here. Salute, man. Hope we can go live soon, man. Make sure when you hit that notification button, you click all. Sometimes you gotta hit it and go back.
Turn the body out,
well, that's that prank.
I'm with my fair facts through. I don't see my fair facts.
Yeah, that's that shit right there, man. You ain't from the area, man. Like I said, man, you gotta get on this shit. I can put you on. So, like I said, man, we out of here, man. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend, man. I'll be right back at you tomorrow. I did 3 today. We got 5 on it. So by the end of this week, we'll have 5 on it, man. I got 3 right now, man. It's been busy, fam. But subscribe, man. Make sure you hit the all button, hit that bell, click way up to all. Cash outs right there. You have a main team. Salute, donate. You know what I mean? Live your life out here, man. Be safe. So much shit going on. Don't make no sense. Nobody won't help each other, man. But I promise you, I'll give you my last dollar. So that's it, man. We're gonna step up out of here, man. Love you guys, man. Appreciate you for participating, man. Go back and watch that again, man. You can pull up yourself. Be out this motherfucker.